Hello everyone and welcome back to Network 27. I'm Vice Mayor Alderman Walter Burnett from 27 Ward. I'd like to thank everyone for joining the show. I'd like to thank everyone who has helped me to put the show together. We're grateful to the mayor for allowing us to be the vice mayor because he wants to keep the city, make the city a better, stronger, safer Chicago and work on the soul of the city. So I'm trying to pick up some of his quotes, right? Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everyone who came to our Stay in School picnic. We like to thank all of the volunteers. We like to thank all of the contributors. We like to thank all of the families who came and had a good time. And all of the young people who got school supplies and the people who've helped us to give some of the young people some scholarships. So I just want to say thank you very much. Young people were riding around on the bikes that they had and playing games, and just was a great time. So now we're into the month of September. I want to share with you guys some very good news and some impressive things that I saw about a month ago. I went to an event and I have some guests with me today of one of our corporate partners who was doing a private-public partnership and being very charitable with a lot of our organizations in the city of Chicago. So we're going to start out by introducing some of these folks here. We have Quincy, Roseborough, from Metropolitan Family Services. He's the Workforce Development Director over there. We have Cristina de la Rosa. She's the Executive Director for Erie Neighborhood House. We have Ayesha, Jaco. She's the Executive Director for Westside United, which is a organization that was started with Rush Hospital and other hospitals around the city that wanted to make sure that they help the lifespan last longer by helping people to get employed. And their motto is that joblessness is a health issue, is a public health issue. And we also have our big corporate partner, Carlos Huezo. Carlos is Community Relations Manager with UPS. Yeah, thank you all for being on the show. First of all, why don't, and we usually go with ladies first, so why don't we go to you, Ms. De La Rosa. Tell us who you are and tell us about Erie Neighborhood House.
Yes, so my name is Cristina de la Rosa. I am born and raised in Chicago. From the Little Village neighborhood, then moved by the Midway area, went to Bogan High School, proud CPS alum, and never left. Went to DePaul and UIC, and then found myself doing some workforce development work right after I graduated from DePaul. I was working with dislocated workers in the city. It was a time when a lot of the trade agreements, impacted a lot of the long-standing manufacturing companies in the area. So we were working with folks that have been working there 30 plus years, never thought about writing a resume or, never had to apply for a job. And so I did that for about 7 years, and fast forward, I found myself at Erie House doing a lot of outreach work, working on making sure that communities across the city of Chicago were aware of the CHA, the Chicago Housing Authority, their programs and their services. And so Erie is a 153-year-old organization. We were born in the traditional settlement house structure. We've been working with immigrant communities all of this time. As the neighborhood has changed, as the different immigrants coming into this welcoming city have changed, we've adapted and really shifted our focus on providing the services that they need. And we've evolved. We predominantly, we started in the Westtown area. Now we're in Little Village. We have a presence in Humboldt Park, the near West Side as well, providing early childhood education, after school programming, adult services like ESL. legal immigration services, some robust mental health support, and really like family wellness. And we can talk about that later as well. But we're so excited about our partnership with UPS, Metro, and Westside United, and really making sure that our community has access to living wages, and career paths, essentially.
Fantastic. So yeah, we could do a whole show on
Yes.
you guys,
Yes.
on each of you.
Yes.
But so why don't you also introduce yourself, Ms. Jaco, and tell us about
Sure.
Westside United.
Yes, thank you again for having me. My name again is Ayesha Jaco, where I serve as Executive Director for Westside United, and I have a similar path as Cristina, born and raised on the west side of Chicago, spent a lot of time between the North Lawndale area and Garfield Park, also a CPS alum, going to school in North Lawndale at Crown Community Academy, then going to Curie, so also that Southwest side footprint. And my career has always been rooted in community development by way of my father, who was an engineer by day, a martial artist by the weekends, and his strategy was to make his communities better than he found them through the martial arts. So he opened schools in communities like North Lawndale, the South Side, over by where Stateway Gardens and those housing projects used to be, and it became this beacon of light and transformation. So that planted a seed for me when I began my career. I also stayed here, so I did school downstate at Illinois State and then came back and did a master's at Columbia College. And so coming out of that, I got my feet wet in nonprofit management as a manager at Youth Outreach Services, managing their substance abuse prevention programs. I also have an arts background, so always looking for the fusion of the arts and social services. I also spent a lot of time in hip hop and philanthropy, co-founding the Lupe Fiasco Foundation, also a West Sider, looking at food equity, education, global capacity building for young people. Did that for about 7 years and picked up a copy of this book called The Death Gap, written by Dr. David Ansel, and it just laid out my lived experience, talking about and saying very directly what we've always known is that your zip code determines your quality of life and how long you're going to live. So for me, coming from the community that currently has the lowest life expectancy on the West Side, having an opportunity to step into Westside United as the first staff hired with a big, hairy, audacious goal at the time of decreasing the life expectancy gap by 50% by 2030 between where we sit today in the Loop and 10 Westside communities. As you mentioned, looking at economic vitality, so jobs and retention of jobs from people from Westside zip codes, career pathways, social impact investments that went back out from hospitals to community, thinking about education, access to care. Those are all things that we look at in a comprehensive way through the partners like UPS and others to have a strategy that is led and driven by community, because that's important, but also that has an all hands on deck approach that allows us to move the needle in a substantive way. So really excited to bring my lived experience into this role and into this partnership.
Yeah, happy anniversary for hip hop, right?
Happy anniversary for hip hop and for Westside United. We turned 5 this year,
Oh,
so
wow.
not quite 50, but
Okay, good deal. Yeah, one alderman made a joke at the city council. He was like, because I'll be 60. Why? When the show shows, I'll be 60. He's like, man, you older than hip hop, man. He busted on me. All right. So Quincy, why don't you tell us about you?
Yeah, again, thank you for having me. I'm Quincy Roseborough. I'm the Director of Workforce Development at Metropolitan Family Services, where I've served Metropolitan and communities that we serve for more than 17 years. I've started with Metropolitan as a case manager for our Young Fathers program, and I've worked in a number of capacities, in those last 17 years. So I'm excited about the partnership with UPS. This is my work. I've been in this role for 4 years now, leading all of our workforce efforts throughout the city and the suburbs. And so I oversee all of our workforce grants, our new grants, our private partnerships with organizations like UPS, and our public partnerships with the city of Chicago, the state of Illinois, and the U.S. government. And so Metropolitan Family Services has been in Chicago. We're the legacy nonprofit, more than 160 years. We have centers throughout the city of Chicago and the suburbs. And we have services that range from domestic violence to behavioral health, early childhood, and of course, workforce.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. All right, my man Huezo.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the invitation, and excited to be here with my partners. You know, I think we talk at least once a week, but it's nice when you see them in person, right? My name is Carlos Huezo. I'm the Community Relations Manager for UPS here in Chicago. I've been in this role for only 4 months now, 4 young months, but I've been with UPS for 10 years now. I started as an intern. I'm born and raised out here in Chicago, the Cicero-Berwyn area. Made my way very west to Missouri, where I went to school. And then I felt that I had a need to come back home and establish myself back in Chicago back in 2016. Since then, I've been at UPS as I interned a little bit, came back, became full-time, and I actually started in the engineering department. So, you know, I was crunching numbers, but I found myself in the business resource group, and I actually am the chair of the Hispanic Latino Business Resource Chair, or BRG. And that's how we honestly got involved with a lot of these nonprofits, and a lot of the partnerships that we have established and networking that we've done is through my BRG and what we've done for the community. At UPS, I've been with the foundation for now 4 months now, and you know, we hit the ground running, and this was my first project and my first you know, item to put under my portfolio, and I'm just as excited to see where it takes us and know that the opportunities are at UPS to kind of minimize any of these health inequities that we want to target. You know, we went through a negotiation process with the Teamsters, and we're at a handshake agreement and ready to go. But we believe that we can impact a lot of the communities here through good paying jobs, benefits, and you know, we have part-time and full-time roles. So if any of you guys ever want to come by, we have the opportunity. We put you on board.
So Carlos,
Yes,
so when folks think about UPS, right, first thing they think about is either you drive a truck or you move in boxes, right? And so you're telling us that you in the engineering department, and so there's a myriad of jobs in UPS, right? So I don't think everybody know that.
And that's something that I, as a community relations guy, I need to tell people that there are opportunities beyond just driving a truck or moving packages. Yesterday, actually had Cristina at one of our facilities, one of our newer Morgan Street facilities in Bridgeport. It's a brand new facility. It opened about a month ago. We had a nice grand opening yesterday. But you get to see all the type of jobs. You know, you have package handlers, you have part-time and full-time roles, drivers, but then, you know, you go into management and you're looking at engineering, you're looking at plant engineering, you're looking at, you know, the risk management side, the foundation side, communications, and it grows and grows and grows, and every facet and every pocket of study is incorporated in the business. So there's a job for everybody at UPS.
And then also, if you worked for UPS, is there opportunities to work all over the country at the different UPS
Yes,
shops?
sir. Yeah, we're very, we like to promote from within. So usually a lot of the folks that you see that are in the higher management started as an hourly employee, loading up a trailer or unloading a trailer, and they've made their way and taken advantage of the schooling and the opportunities of the benefits that you get being at UPS. With that said,
do you all pay for college?
we have an incentive a program where we give up to $25,000 towards folks that are while working at UPS while also getting their education. So we help pay for some of their credit hours.
Retroactive, because we still paying for college.
I'm with you too. I'm with you too.
Can I come there for a minute, man?
Right. I mean, I wish it was that easy. I wish it was that. But like, going back to your question about being a global company, yes, we have pockets of the industry in any sector that you can
all
think
over
of.
the world.
You can work in Dubai if you want to.
Is that right?
Yeah.
See, people don't even think about that.
No, we're everywhere.
So you kind of like the airline. See, people think if you work for the airline, you can work all over the world, right? But
we have our own airline too. So
you got your own airline?
We have our own airline in Louisville, Kentucky.
Get out of here. See, I didn't know that. Did you all know that?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, well, yeah, finally,
I think I talked to Cristina long enough. She's almost a UPS by
I'm honorary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, so So we were at this event at was that St. Mary's Hospital,
Yes, sir.
right? And the event was you all handed a big check. Was it a big check handed over?
Yeah. So
So tell us about that event.
definitely.
And you had your was that your vice president or president?
My president
Your
and vice president were in town. We had local staff management as well, just the team that's going to support us kick off this event. So UPS surveyed different areas of the society to see where we can impact. And back to, Ayesha's comments on the life expectancy, right? Chicago has one of the biggest, the largest life expectancies, differences from zip code to zip code within a couple of mile radius, right? So we're not professionals in helping people live longer, right? But we do know and can partner with our network and our partnerships to put workforce development programming in place so that we give the opportunity for folks to come to UPS, but they go through proper programming so that they stay at UPS, because that's the problem here. We want to make sure we retain, we want to make sure we provide upward mobility with jobs, whether they want to go into management or want to go driving. And we selected all three of these organizations to be part of this $1 million investment.
So you gave a $1 million mock check.
It was a mock check, but I think that...
So you gave a $1 million check.
Yes, sir.
To ceremonially to show the significance of what you all are contributing to these organizations.
Yes, I think it has to be a celebration that we do. It's something that we need to, and other networking comes from this, right? We've been able to get a lot of great relationships out of that event, out of the whole week that my president and vice president were in town for, and it just kind of keeps adding to itself. So this was kind of like the huge party to it, but now the real work kind of happens.
So this was a commitment that you were going to hire people from these organizations, work with these organizations to hire people.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and so up to $1 million. So that's a lot of people to hire, right? That's a lot of folks.
We're at we've committed to 300 of lives impacted through their programming. Whether they come to UPS or find another alternate career through their programming, we'll take that as a win too. The intent isn't just to bring people to work at UPS. If you find your career or your passion in a different opportunity, but you still take advantage of some of these programs, then that's still a win. That's something that we will take as a stat, as we impacted that life overall.
Okay, so guys, why don't you all tell us your experience with working with UPS now that you're a couple of months into this. But before we do that, Carlos, you were saying you were with the foundation.
I'm with the foundation.
Right.
That's
so the
right.
foundation is a non-for-profit arm of UPS?
The foundation actually is a branch off of UPS. So
is it non-for-profit or for-profit?
It's not.
Non-for-profit.
Yes.
So you all donate to that, or UPS put money into that? Do you ask other vendors that deal with you to put money into that also?
It's an open, just an open bank essentially to take and put in. We distribute grants and sponsorships from it, but we also take people that want to give funding to us. That's something that we'll also incorporate.
So this is a non-for-profit arm. So I just want the public to know that I'm not working for UPS. I'm working for a non-for-profit, right? You know what I'm saying? Because we're not supposed to be on these shows promoting for-profit entities, right? So it's a non-for-profit that you use to help these other non-for-profits, right? And you solicit money from people who do business with you all to help out, and this helps UPS to stay stabilized. Mm-hmm. Because at one time, after the pandemic, everyone was suffering with finding people to work.
It was bad.
Yeah, because for whatever reason, I don't know what happened. It's like people like gave up on work. After the pandemic, it's like you can't find people. You can't. I never in my life had so many businesses ask me, could I put on my website that they hire, right? And they hire on the spot, or they want to do a job fair and hire on the spot, because people are having a hard time finding people to work, right? So this actually is a win-win for both, right? For the community organizations, but also for UPS. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. That's great. So guys, why don't you tell us how your interactions going to how this is helping your organizations and how you are able to help people because of this. Anybody chime in?
Yeah, well, I'll jump in. So we've, Metropolitan has partnered with UPS in the past, and it was more on a kind of location level where we did recruitment for the Hodgkin facility. So that's been a partnership that we've had for 6 years. We've never had the corporate partnership, and having the foundation at the table really expands the work that we're able to do. What we found is, and something that Carlos brought up, was retention, right? Retention was something which is a pain point for us. We could get folks to UPS, we get folks started at UPS, but we couldn't keep them there. And so what we found during our research is that a lot of folks were not staying because there was a long distance to travel, right? And so folks didn't want to go to work on a bus for an hour and then work for 3 or 4 hours and then come home another hour, right? What we saw and what UPS listened to us about was that folks wanted to be compensated during that time. And so what we created with this program is kind of a subsidy to help them in their with their transportation, right? To give them some incentives to get to work, come back from work, and actually do the work that they're there. So we think this partnership is very different from what we've had before, which was kind of a handoff. With this partnership, we're able to kind of see our participants through the employment process and stay with them while they're at UPS.
Fantastic. So tell me, so we're talking about jobs with UPS, and ladies and gentlemen, it's Alderman Walter Burnett with my guests from UPS, Westside United, Metropolitan Family Services, and Erie Neighborhood House, talking about a partnership that they put together where UPS has a not-for-profit arm that wants to help organizations in the city of Chicago to hire people and help people get jobs. And these organizations feel as though unemployment is a public health issue in the city of Chicago. So what do these jobs pay, right? What are we talking about? What are some of the starting pays at UPS?
I mean, you're looking at ranges from $18 to $21 an hour,
Really?
depending on the new contract and what comes out of that. We're going to get more information on what the starting hourly rate is.
So
but
you are still negotiating on what the pay is?
I haven't gotten the nitty-gritty details of it, but I know if you've seen in the news, there's headlines everywhere of pay increasing across the board for our Teamsters.
So we do know it's going to be increased.
It is.
Right?
There is definitely increase.
So right now it's around $18 to $20-some. It could be more.
Right.
But you don't want to say too much because you
I
don't want to. You don't want to negotiate on TV, right?
Right. But I'll say, there's opportunity, and like I said, that's from the union side of it, right? And you jump into the management side of things, and you're talking about different pays and different opportunities, and you're on a salary, and it just varies. You get different perks being either on the union side or the management side, right?
So what about benefits?
Benefits they're industry leading. I'll say that every driver or every hourly employee that I speak to, there's typically a lot of people work at UPS for their benefits, and even if it's a part-time role, they still cover the whole household, which is not a lot of companies do.
So what type of benefits?
You're talking healthcare, you're talking dental, you're talking.
The healthcare cover the whole family?
It covers. It covers. I don't know what the intricacies are with that, but it covers a nice majority part of it.
Healthcare, dental.
Mm-hmm. You'll see a lot of people start as a part-time employee at UPS, but then they have a secondary job, but they hold on to UPS for 15, 20 years because
the benefits are better than their regular job.
Right. Exactly.
So they get time off, vacation days, sick days, all that kind of stuff.
That's all included, yes, sir.
Yeah, then they get opportunities to go to college.
They get opportunities to college. We work with their schedules to try to make sure that they go to their classes and become better
Do y'all
citizens.
have profit sharing?
We have. We're open. Yes, we're an open. We're open to the public.
I mean, do the employees? Do they?
They have opportunities to buy stock for UPS. Yes, they do.
Fantastic. That's great, man.
Mm-hmm.
$18, $20 an hour, free benefits.
I'm telling you, if you got time, let's go.
Yeah, people don't recognize benefits can be about $30,000 a year. Yeah. Easy. So, folks don't add that stuff up, but that's a lot of money. Healthcare is very expensive. Mm-hmm. That's great. So why don't you tell us, Ms. De La Rosa, how you all
are working together?
Yes.
Yes. Similar as well. We're working on informing the community, workshops, job fairs, letting them know about the opportunity that's available with UPS. UPS has been very accessible. Our team was meeting with them yesterday to talk a little bit more about what skills are needed, so that as we're working with the community, we're setting them up to succeed. Again, we're really focusing on that retention piece for sure. And so what we're trying to do is learn like what those skills are. We'll do like a little two-week mini boot camp, getting them ready to enter to UPS, and that can look like, a contextualized curriculum, like make sure you're good on your math, coordination, just, learning a little bit more about what your onboarding process is like. So that's the conversation that we're having right now. But what it's going to look like once we fully roll it out is those workshops, going out to fairs, doing on the spot, interviewing, prepping them, getting them ready to get into the workforce. Right now, there are full-time, part-time positions that we see that are available. The transportation benefit is helpful. Like, we understand, right? Like, oftentimes some of the reasons that we hear from the community about why they can't make it out is it's a long commute. It's time, something maybe closer, and oftentimes they're worried about putting food on the table, right? And so that becomes the priority, and whatever is the easiest way to do that, we have to respect that, right? So how do we make sure that this partnership is a way to do that? We've also been working a lot right now with the migrants that are coming, and we're hearing and learning that they're getting their work permits now. And so, it's slowly happening. It's not, but we have had folks return and say that they're ready for work. And so wanting to also prepare them, right, for what the work culture is like here, which is very different. And that's something that we've had to navigate and set expectations. So that's right now what it's going to be looking like. And then the other piece I'll say is that this is wonderful, but I'll also say that the folks at the foundation have been very thoughtful. Like the time that they spent here, that week that they were here, they invited all of us to meet some of their partners and creating access and networking opportunities as well, which I appreciated, because we were all there. We were all able to meet other folks doing similar work, or just folks that may be interested in some of our mission and, the work that we're doing. And so, yes, there's, helping out the community, but they've also opened some doors for our organizations to also share with other corporate folks what we're doing and see how they can be involved as well.
Fantastic. So you all pretty much prep everyone, so you kind of pre-screen people, right, so to speak.
Correct.
For UPS, right? So you find a good candidates, you prepare your people to know what to expect, right? You screen them, you probably help them with their resumes and all of those things.
Help them get their applications
Help them with the applications,
online.
yeah. Because, it's unique now with all employers, some people still don't get it that you can't go and fill out an application.
I know. Yeah.
They like, hey, I want to fill out an application, man. And they tell you, okay, you go on the website and you do this. And, that's like, sometimes that can be challenging for folks. Sure. Sometimes I had to fill out stuff on, like my dentist right now, I got to go and fill out all this stuff on the internet. I'm like, man, just give me the paper, man.
Yeah, I'll do it when I get there.
Yeah, let me just write it on the paper. But so it's still taking some people, time to get adjusted to the changes and how people are looking at employees right now. So they need that help is very beneficial to them. So I think that's good. So do you all, and probably all of y'all, do you all do the drug testing and all of that stuff with folks? No, you don't do that part. Okay.
No, we leave that up to the employer. I think, from our standpoint, it's over the years, it's something that's been identified as something that's been invasive, right? We go based on trust, right? We ask our participants, if you took a drug test today, will you drop clean? They tell us yes, we'll have a conversation like, this is a reputation, this is our reputation, but it's more importantly is your reputation. So,
and I probably need to ask this to UPS. So we was just playing outside, talking about weed and gummies and how it's becoming so, like you can go to Miss Jones' house and Miss Jones is, like 80 years old and, got stuff in her house now, because it's like so acceptable now. And I think that's the challenge for some young people, because they feel like because it's legal now, that employers accept it, and that may not be true with all employers, right? I know in the construction industry, even alcohol is not accepted in the construction industry because they don't want you having alcohol in your system and standing up on a 50-foot building, and beam or whatever, right? And put everybody in trouble. So can you tell us anything in reference to that?
Yeah, I think we need to just, we look at everything as a liability. We want to, our first and foremost, mission at UPS is to have a safe working environment, right? So just like Quincy said, there's a vetting criteria that goes through it. I can't speak too much on the trucking side. It's not in my space, but they have they're more rigorous about their DOT license and all that, just because they have to be up to par, right? They're driving 8 hours a day. They're handing off shifts and stuff. So from that side, but as far as a record, I mean, we have our HR department has a third party that does all the background checks, and they come back and they go through the criteria, and so there's some things like theft we would look into a little bit more to onboard somebody at UPS, but it's never a no. It's just let's see what we can do. Obviously, the reason we chose these three organizations because we trust that the folks that they're going after are going to be in good standing with their organization, which it's going to create a good source of employment for us.
Fantastic. So you have some leniency, but what about so do you do drug tests? I'm sure probably with the trucks they probably do drug tests.
Yeah, they do.
Right?
I don't think as an entry level role. I got to get back with my HR, but I don't believe so. No.
Yeah, because I think everybody getting ready to bump heads with the marijuana stuff because they made it legal, right? And folks go on jobs think that, hey, I don't take drugs, I just smoke weed, right? Right. So I think that's going to bump heads with a lot of people, and people need to know that ahead of time, right? So they could be prepared for it, or stop hanging with their homies for a minute, right? So tell us, Ms. Jaco, how you guys are working with UPS.
Sure. So similar to our peer organizations, we are providing supports that will allow for transportation, career readiness, helping with recruitment, and this fits into our larger goals around activating and hiring locally from the West Side via our hospital partners. So we have targets where we want at least 18% of all new hires across our systems to come from West Side zip codes. That being said, it is not the wraparound supports that are there to ensure that folks transition in successfully. We see that more in our career pathway work, where we partner with Malcolm X College to provide medical assistant pathways, and others with partners like 1 Million Degrees who do that sort of onboarding and career development. So in this instance, it is a merging of both of our programs, the local hiring aspect and then putting the wraparound supports in the hiring arena so that we have diversity. And when we talk about our impacts of wanting to eradicate this gap by decreasing the low unemployment across the West Side, increasing the median income, providing family sustaining wages, it is an all hands on deck approach. So we have healthcare, our healthcare partners in that. UPS is our first corporate partner. We want to see more partnerships like this so that we can partner with our peers and ensure that the pathways into these jobs have a process that help the varying needs, as we've heard today, from migrant populations, those with backgrounds, into this ecosystem of work that keep our communities on the West Side affordable, accessible, and most of all, equitable.
Fantastic, fantastic. So I think this is great. So if people wanted to, so I know Metropolitan Family Services is all over the city, yep. Right? You have several locations. Erie Family has several locations. West Side United, you're mostly on the West Side.
That's correct.
Right?
So, yep.
So tell us how people can connect with you guys.
So right now you can go to westsideunited.org to learn more about our work. We are building a portal so that you have a one-stop shop for all open positions across our health systems. Eventually that's going to include UPS. Sunita Lewis is our lead in this work for workforce. So we are building our ramp for recruitment with UPS as we speak. So by end of year, we should have something that people can interact with beyond those that we're doing some specific targeted recruiting for. So more to come on that from us.
So what is that website?
westsideunited.org.
Okay, fantastic. And so please, Ms. De La Rosa.
Yes, so we also through our website, eriehouse.org, but we will also be attending fairs. We'll be hosting job fairs, and we're gonna do that and blast that through social media and outreach, hopefully leverage all of our partners as well and letting them know when these opportunities are available. And then the other piece is also just while we have various sites, and so we also just want to make sure that we're also putting it across the city, so it's not just going to be from Westtown, but we're going to make sure that all of our sites that we're able to welcome anybody, help them apply, let them know about the information and all of the job opportunities that are available as well.
Fantastic. And Brother Roseborough.
Yeah, metrofamily.org. You can find the center that's closest to you, and you can access any of our workforce program for any of our centers. We are mostly throughout Chicago, right? We don't have an actual center on the west side of Chicago, but we do have partners that we work with on the west side as well. We encourage folks to come into our office. We can do the internet, we can do the phone calls, but we want to have that face-to-face. Building a relationship is important. So coming to any of our centers, we can get you hooked up with UPS or any other employer.
So where are your centers? You guys have those addresses?
Oh, man.
So
I'm near 50 now. I don't know if so we're at in South Chicago, we're at 3062 East 91st Street. In Roseland, we're at 235 East 103rd Street. Chicago line, we're 6422 South Kedzie. Belmont Cragen, we're at 3249 North Central, and then we got so many more, and I was showing off right there.
Yeah, you're doing good, man. That's pretty good. 50 for 50. Fantastic. So wow, I was just getting ready to ask you something in reference to how many jobs do you have right now? How many people are you looking for?
So we're starting to get into that season where holidays are around the corner, and we start our ramp up plans right now. We're located throughout the Chicagoland area, and specifically Hodgkins, the facility that Quincy and his team has worked with in the past. They're hiring all year round. So there's a need for probably 300 to 400 employees in that building in itself, right?
Just one building.
One building. So it's a 24-hour facility that runs Monday to Friday. You're talking about during our holiday season, you're Monday through Sunday. So it's a seven-day facility sometimes. So the opportunities are out there, the jobs are posted, and right now we are hiring. So if you go into upsjobs.com, you put in your zip code, and then we can target which building's closest to you. That'll just minimize your commute and your traveling that you have to do, which is something that we're also working with our partners here. We don't want to onboard folks and have them go across town for a job when there's a building closer to them that they can take advantage of, right? So we're very intentional on where we're gonna place folks based on their zip code, because we do want to minimize the travel for them.
Fantastic. So would you venture to say that you have over 1,000 opportunities?
Closer as we ramp up, we'll probably, in the whole Chicago, we'll have over 1,000 jobs probably available as we get into that fourth quarter of our year.
Fantastic.
And then a lot of those will also be temp roles, but a lot of our temp employees stick around because they like it or they like the opportunities that they got, and we do get a lot of retention from just the temp employees that come by.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you're hearing it right here. There's opportunities. There's jobs.
Yeah.
There's folks here who can help prepare you, right? And also, even though you may have a background, it shouldn't hinder you from having an opportunity. So there's really basically no excuse. right? There's no excuse for us to say we don't have a job, we don't have opportunities, because there are opportunities out here, whether you're on the west side, the south side, the north side, you know, the east side, you know, there's opportunities for you. And we have these fine organizations here trying to help. And this is just one part of it. I mean, with Westside United, they work with every hospital. Matter of fact, my wife and I, we just walked through the medical district this morning, because I live, you know, on the west side over by Rush. And we just walked our dogs this morning in the medical district. And I saw so many people getting out of their cars, going to work. It's about 6:30 this morning, going to work. All nationalities, young, older, you know, not old, but older, all types of people going to work. So many jobs. They say, you know, like the medical district is one of the highest employers in the state.
Yes, if combined, they'd be the #1 employer in the state, the systems.
Yeah, and so it's so many job opportunities, and these hospitals have committed to hiring people, right, and on the west side in particular, but I'm sure all over the city. And so there's opportunities. You just need to connect. I'm giving you the resources right here, and take advantage of it. And Erie is all over. I know I have Erie in a couple of my schools. You're doing some things with the young people. You got a couple of clinics in places.
So Erie Neighborhood House we're separate entities from Erie Family Health Centers. However, it did incubate out of Erie.
Okay.
It did. And the Erie Charter School in Humboldt Park also incubated out of Erie. Now they're their own separate entity. And you know, as you were talking right now, I do want to say that like that a lot of the work I think that we're doing is providing that ongoing support for the folks that, you know, are applying, right? The jobs are there, but it's also making sure that we're the support system that folks need to stay there and provide like all the other wraparound services. And part of that is like, you know, we have healthcare, early childhood education. You know, if we have if we're you know, helping someone apply, and then they're like, well, I have childcare, I need childcare. Well, we offer childcare, or I need somebody to help with after school. We have those services. So I think it's really helpful to make sure that the unit and whatever like the family unit needs or that household needs, that we're able to provide that so they can stay longer. And I was going to say something else and it slipped my mind, but it's just saying that the fact that we're able to provide that, and when we can't offer a service, we can refer them to other partner organizations, doing that warm handoff and saying, hey, like, we're able to do childcare, but maybe we're not able to provide rental assistance, for example. So those are the other ways that we could leverage each other as well.
Fantastic. I think that's unique. I think we need to get more organizations to work together like this. I think it needs to be a one-stop shop incubator for all of these things that's happening in our city. So and I know, Quincy, that one, I got to acknowledge, you know, that you're one of my fraternity brothers,
Sure.
Phi Beta Sigma, you know.
Yes, sir.
You know, right? So anyway, we just got to represent, because all those other guys be representing all the time. But anyway, so I know also Metropolitan Family Services have contracts with the state and the city to deal with violence prevention, right?
Sure. Yep.
And I would imagine that those people that you have out here that y'all working with, these different organizations that y'all helping to be the fiscal agent for, that's dealing with people out there, you would give them the opportunity to send some of those folks that they're trying to lure from being in trouble or being in violence to come and get a job.
Yeah, so part of the work that I do is help to create those programs for our Metropolitan Peace Initiatives. And so they operate the workforce part out of our Jones Center, which is 6422 South Kedzie. We build programs specifically to meet that population, right? The returning citizen population, those folks who need intervention and prevention with gang violence. And so one of our programs that we just launched earlier this year is a manufacturing program, so they can get a basic manufacturing certificate in partnership with Daily College, and then we connect them with an employer, right? And so UPS will be no different, right? We built the program, a job readiness training, which is 30 hours of soft skills training, and then we have a one-day addition, which is customized workforce training that actually creates an ideal candidate for UPS, right? And so we look at all the things that UPS wants out of an employee, and we train them. We take them through a one-day, probably 8 hours of training to get them prepared to apply for UPS. And so it's no different with that population. I grew up on the South Side. I graduated from South Shore High School, went to Chicago State, where I first got in tune with UPS. And so just seeing this opportunity for us, for those folks who are on the South Side, is exciting. And so as you know, kind of the standard bearer right now for Metropolitan and this MFS UPS partnership, I'm excited to go out here and recruit folks and let them know that this is a great opportunity. UPS is a great company to work for.
Yeah, and so I think that's fantastic. So that's saying that each of you all, these 1,000 jobs that over 1,000 jobs that UPS has,
yeah, we want them all.
is not the only thing that you all are dealing with, right?
Yeah.
Each of you all have other opportunities for people, right? And you have these resources there, and people just need to take advantage of it, right? They just need to come and ask, come and see, come and get connected, and you all can try to connect them somewhere and make sure that every household have a job.
Yeah, we just, I think we all participated in One Summer Chicago. The mayor's summer program is ending. This is the time to connect them with long-term employment. And so for those folks who are now returning to school, who are without employment, connect them with UPS, connect them with other opportunities. I think it's a win-win for us all.
Fantastic, fantastic. So we need to make sure we get more of that information out to people. So we have job fairs periodically in our ward, myself and Representative Jahari Omar Williams, who's my son, who happened to mess up. He became a Kappa, man. Can you believe that?
He messed up.
I don't know what we did. I don't know what we did wrong. My wife is a Zeta. I'm a Sigma. And he it's like he's defying his parents, man. But anyway, that's a whole nother story.
That's funny.
But anyway, blue and white is all in our house, man. This dude come in with this red stuff.
Yeah, he got glasses. Must be the glasses. Gotta be the glasses.
But anyway, you know, we do job fairs. As a matter of fact, the picnic that I was just talking about, I'm actually trying to do job fairs with everything that I do.
Right.
So at my picnic, we having a job fair. Okay. So it's a picnic and a job fair. So picnic, job fair, college fair. So we're trying to kill all birds with one stone. You know, so we get about 5,000 people, and we're trying to get folks to take your kids, let them go play on the slides while you come and do an application, you know. Let your grandma go play bingo and you go over here and get an application, you know. But also what I'm finding is, and you know, especially as, you know, I'm 60, what I'm finding is a lot of people of age want to go back to work, right? And they don't want to work full time. Right, they 60, 65, 70. They just want to get a couple of dollars, you know, so they can go to the casino or, you know what I'm saying, or go and take a little vacation, right? They don't want to work 8 hours a day every day, right? So they all looking for something part-time. Is it opportunity? You all don't have no age limit?
There's no age limit.
No
as long
age
as
limit.
you can provide the job, if you can do the job and lift the requirements that you need, and you know, you come get your bingo money, your casino money, and we probably have employees that are doing that right now. So, you know, definitely there's an opportunity, and there's a job for everybody at UPS.
Fantastic, because we have bingo at our picnic too, you know. But anyway, and you know, today the great thing is talking about the public health and the lifespan. People are living longer. People are living longer in a lot of communities, and hopefully this will help folks to live a lot more longer. You know, because you find when you are employed and you live in a stable life, you pay attention to stuff, right? You pay attention to your health, you go to the doctor, all those good things, and you start doing what you need to do to stay healthy, and that's how you live longer, right? Because you become more aware. When you unemployed and you just out there, just getting by, you may not even be sitting down looking at the news or TV or whatever. You're not really paying as much attention. So all this stuff is great that all of you all are trying to help people in our society. I'm so happy that UPS is here. Definitely we're gonna make sure whatever job fairs we have, we let you all know, but also let these organizations know, since you guys are hustling, trying to get people work, So that's a great thing to have organizations hustling, trying to give people jobs. Ain't that something? Isn't that a great thing? But also you got the opportunity for people, it's a blessing to have the opportunities for people to work. And I'm sure there's a myriad of companies that you all are working with that give these opportunities with folks besides the hospital, besides the other entities that you're working with. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if Metropolitan also, I know the other organizations in the past used to have a hookup with some of the colleges where they would let some of your guys go and get a subsidized education at some of the universities.
Yeah, we don't currently have that. We don't have it in the form that we had it before. We do have partnerships with Olive Harvey, with Daly College, in that we're sending folks there for TDL certification at Olive Harvey and manufacturing at Daly. As a matter of fact, on my way in, I got a call. It's like, oh, we got another CDL. And so being able to put young people, young and mid-age folks into the CDL program, get that CDL license and get ready to drive, is something that we're committed to. Not only that, we offer an opportunity for them to go work for the company for about 12 weeks, where we're paying the wage for them to get a feel for what that job opportunity is. Yeah.
Wow.
Sure.
That's great.
Look, we have to we have to check every box of need, right? And so if folks are not exposed and they're just being introduced to a particular career, we want them to get a feel for that, right? I don't want to be an embalmer, right? I've never had an idea, I never wanted it. But there are some folks who say they want to be an embalmer, they want to work in funeral services. Well, let me connect with Leak & Sons.
Embalmer, I thought you said Obama.
Oh, no. I didn't want to be Obama. He's a great guy. But being able to introduce them to these careers and being able to subsidize those wages so that employers will partner with us and say, hey, we'll show John how to, what this job takes.
Guys, we got 5 minutes. You believe that? Okay. So we want to thank you all again. I want to thank my man, my frat brother, Quincy, Roseborough, from Metropolitan Family Services. People want to get in touch with you guys, please, real quick, because we got 5 minutes. Tell people how to get in contact with your organizations again.
Yep. You can reach us at metrofamily.org, and 312-986-4000 is our main number.
De La Rosa.
Yes. eriehouse.org, and our main number is 312-666-3430.
Okay, and Ms. Jaco.
And the best way to learn more about Westside United is to come to our website, westsideunited.org, for workforce specifically. Sanita Lewis at slewis@westsideunited.org. And Lewis is LEWIS.
Fantastic. And my man?
Yeah, UPSjobs.com. And like Biggie said, we're always hiring, right? All of our jobs are posted there. You can start as early as 17 years old. And start making great benefits, a good pension, and a good wage.
Fantastic. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for watching Network 27. I want to thank all our guests. Thank you all for helping our society, helping our people. Carlos, did you say Biggie because this is like hip-hop anniversary, man? You trying to hook up the hip-hop 50th anniversary, man? All right, we appreciate it. We appreciate all of you all. Thank you all for watching Network 27. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. God bless you all, and see you next month. Thank you.